John Collins and Collin Sexton return with vigor. Brice Sensabaugh goes off, and the Jazz take the Celtics to the wire in Boston. It's next, and it's on POSTCAST. Coming up.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke and Ron Boone, your Utah Jazz radio team, with you on POSTCAST after every single game. Tonight, we'll look at the Jazz rally back, outscoring the Boston Celtics in the fourth quarter, 39-24, after being outscored 37-22 in the third. To rally back in this one, Brice Sensabaugh goes off. John Collins and Collin Sexton return. The defense in the first half as good as we've seen in a while. Ron Boone thinks it's one of the best games the Jazz have played in a while. We'll touch on all those things as we continue here on POSTCAST tonight. Ron Boone, let's start there. This is one of the best games you've seen the Jazz play in a while,
Especially that first quarter. Jazz have had some great success in the first quarter. I mean, and the coach has been complimentary of the way they start the ball games. But I was looking more at the defense and how the defense was rotating and staying in position and staying in front of their man for the most part, and ended up, pretty close quarter, only getting outscored by 1 point.
The Jazz were playing 1 through 5 switching. They were willing to let the switches happen. It was ideally that they weren't going to allow a bunch of open threes. And frankly, they had a pretty good night other than Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser goes 8 of 16, goes off for 23 points in the third quarter. Other than that, the Jazz are probably pretty pleased with the way they played defense.
I really believe that. I believe they're going to use this ball game as an example of how they would like to play defense from game to game. Things change as far as personnel and everything is concerned, but for tonight, it worked because we saw Kessler out there on an island many, many times defending guys like Jaylen Brown or maybe even Drew Holiday or Derek White or someone like that, and really holding his own.
Okay, so I thought that was the story of the night for the Jazz, like in a season development. There's a lot of things to talk about. But to me, that's really interesting. Like Walker Kessler, a rim defender, suddenly willing to play him 1 through 5 switching. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, no Jason Tatum, and Peyton Pritchard's the number 2 isolation player in the NBA over the last 2 years. Jaylen Brown's around the 10th most of anyone in the NBA. He's getting better and better at it. Dig into me on Walker and what you thought he did well or did not do well on playing isolation defense in space, because the Celtics are more than willing to run a lot of isolation, and they went at Walker time and time again.
Well, and you notice who they were going, we ended up guarding the most was Jaylen Brown. And you touched on Jaylen Brown's ability to, like Luka or something like that, where he plays iso basketball, but he doesn't really beat you that much off the dribble, which means he's not that quick with the ball in his hands. Give Kessler a chance to maybe stay a little closer. Tomorrow night, against Memphis, it might not be the case. But tonight, it really worked.
I think you do it against Memphis and see if John Morant wants to drive at him all night and make John Morant shoot from the outside.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown goes 6 of 17 from the field and 0 of 5 from 3. So if part of the game was to try to slow down Jaylen Brown, I think you did a very good job of slowing down Jaylen Brown.
Totally agree with that. And the fact that the defensive game plan did work for them, because we saw Kessler away from the basket quite a bit here tonight. Only 2 block shots. I say only. He's averaging about 2.5, almost 3 block shots a ball game. That's good for second in the league. And so we say only 2, but 2 is good.
The other one that jumped out tonight was the play of Brice Sensabaugh after Sam Hauser goes bonkers in the third quarter. It was Brice Sensabaugh going in the fourth quarter. What'd you see, Ron?
Well, this Hauser he got into a rhythm the Jazz just could not put the fire out. He had a couple of heat checks and made one, missed one. But I didn't expect that, but you kind of expect Sensabaugh to get back on track the way he was playing at the beginning of the year, to the point where that jump shot was just falling from anywhere. But he played better with the ball in his hands here tonight than we've seen him play.
Well, I really think there's been an NBA scouting report out on that took away his right hand, and he kept trying to force it and get himself in a lot of trouble. There's a late game play. I don't know if Boston didn't do it to him tonight. My guess is that he's now figured out how to adapt. Like, this is what happens, and take that 3 early. Don't He has a tendency to wait to put it on the deck, and when he's putting it on the deck, he got in trouble. So get rid of the ball quickly. And then his best drives tonight were all left-hand shove-off with the right-hand step-back jumpers. So I think he may have adapted a little bit.
Well, if you don't adjust, adapt, whatever you want to call it, you don't last long in this league, because this league is all about taking away your weakness, your strong points, and driving you to your weakness. You heard Joe Mazzulla before the ball game talk about every team has a certain strength. And so that's what you're trying to take away when you're trying to defend the team.
Today's show is brought to you by DoorDash. They swoosh, you save with the NBA code 50. Don't know if anybody's done it yet tonight, but when an NBA player drops 50 in a ball game, you win with DoorDash. Here's the deal. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. Player scores 40 during the regular season. Dash Pass members get 50% off any order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Whether it's a game day feast, late night cravings, lunch on the go, whatever it might be, sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save when any player scores 50 or more in a game. Dash Pass members get 50% off and order the next day up to $10 off. Just use the promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight. After a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants, must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. That's for Dash Pass members. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. With the NCAA tournament coming, FanDuel's got a special deal for you right now. Check this out with FanDuel. When you win any $5 bet with FanDuel right now, you get a $2 for new customers. You get a $200 in bonus bets. That's right, $5 bet. You get $200 in bonus bets to bet on buzzer beaters, Cinderella stories, whatever it might be that March brings you. Pick the favorites, stay in the action. It's easy and fast. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Plus, you can do in-game betting with FanDuel as well. So visit FanDuel.com. Get in on the college hoops action all season long with FanDuel, official sportsbook of Locked On. Just checking an NBA score that might be of interest to some of the fans listening. Charlotte has defeated Miami 105-102 tonight. Just thought I'd throw that out there. If anybody following, that one matters. And we'll see for how long it matters. All right. Let's talk about Collin Sexton and John Collins. John Collins takes the most shots he's ever taken in his NBA career. He took 25 through three quarters, took 30 by the night was over. Those guys were ready to go.
They were definitely ready to go, and I thought especially John Collins was trying to take advantage of the moment. I thought in that first half anyway, a lot of his shots were not rush shots or forced shots or anything like that. It was just normal. I thought maybe he got into it a little bit in the second half, but 30 shots. There's a lot of players in the league that take 30, 35.
Yeah, not a lot. You know, it's pretty impressive.
And
Ron Boone's jealous, by the way. Ron Boone's wondering, like, did I ever get 30 shots in a game?
I'm wondering, that's for sure. Just like I was wondering about the number of points I had in this arena. But
I couldn't find it. Yeah. By the way, I did look. I did Google. 10 rebounds for John Collins and Walker Kessler tonight. Collins Sexton had 13 assists. He did have 6 turnovers in this one. The only other player I just kind of wanted to mention tonight, there have been some nights where Cody Williams looked completely out of sorts. Like he did not, I thought he looked like he belonged on the floor tonight. I know that sounds like a very minor compliment, but considering the fact that there were nights this year where he literally looked like he was getting 15 minutes because he was the 10th pick of the draft, tonight I thought he looked like an NBA rotation player who physically looked like, and you know, I've heard he's actually gained weight, which is really hard to do during the season. So I thought that was a nice night for Cody tonight.
I think the most important thing for him going forward, David, and I totally agree, he played 16 minutes, and you just made a point. He was productive. He made impact on the ball game in a short period of time. And I think going forward, that's what we have to make sure we're looking forward to for him. That way we're showing some improvement. Maybe that 16 points will go to 23, 24 minutes, the next game. But making an impact in a short period of time is the kind of game that he has is probably as important for him as anything.
It is. All right, Jazz fall tonight. Is Boston the best team in the NBA?
Man, oh man, I've watched a lot of basketball. I watch Cleveland a lot. I'm looking at what teams, let's just take the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. Which one of those teams score on the offensive end a little easier? I mean, which team has to work harder?
So
to get
Cleveland's
the
the best offense, arguably, in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
However, when Jaylen Brown guards Donovan Mitchell and Derek White guards Darius Garland in a playoff series, and Drew Holiday's not guarding either of them yet, and Jason Tatum's still on the floor, and Kristaps Porzingis is guarding Jared Allen, Evan Mobley better make a whole hell of a lot of plays for Cleveland, and I don't know that he can do
That's
it.
a matchup we have to look forward to.
Yeah.
But the threes, and
when Donovan Mitchell gets Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Derek White thrown at him over 40 minutes.
And that's a great point, because there's someone that's going to keep coming at you defensively. Jaylen Brown gets in foul trouble. Okay, we're going to put Derek White on you now. Okay,
right.
You lose.
And who's guarding Jason Tatum?
Yeah, see, that's a big point.
Yeah.
So
Cleveland beat them last time.
That's going to be a fun matchup.
Last time they played, Cleveland beat them.
Yeah.
All right. Reliability pluses, Ron Boone. Who you got?
I'm going with Brice Sensabaugh for sure. I mean,
yeah.
And I don't know if I had a problem with 30 shots. I don't think I do. Only problem I have with 30 shots is that some of them seem like they were forced in the second half. First half, not. The 13 assists there by Collin Sexton, I thought was impressive, but
I'm going to give Collins Sexton and John Collins both a reliability plus, because I think it's super hard to play one every 6 nights.
There we go. You got 3 R.
Oh, you're not giving it no one else?
Who you want to get one to? You like Cody Williams for a short period of time, but
he might have. Yeah.
Who else?
Walker. 6 offensive rebounds.
Okay, Walker.
And a lot of isolation. I thought he did a pretty good job on. There is one play in this game that swung the game, by the way. The Jazz, Jaylen Brown's at the free throw line. He misses the second free throw. The Celtics get the offensive rebound, kick it out, and get a 3 off it.
Right.
That ended the ball game. That was the big play of the night. That's the only one I would look back at and wonder, who didn't clear that board? What would that would lose you a reliability square if you missed that one tonight. All right, that is Postcast tonight. Thanks very much for tuning in, being a part of the program. Ron and I will join you from Memphis. I will bring you Locked on Jazz tomorrow, because that's what I do. I appreciate it. And to the Locked on Jazz fan whose name I've forgotten, who was at the game tonight, was walking down the street today, is like, David Locke. Great to meet you. Hope you had a good trip from St. George and enjoyed yourself out here. Talk to you guys soon.